Coming up very shortly, my first guest, the very talented, sensational Storm.
DJ Jammy, Wargon family. I want some DJ imposters that claim them new music and don't have that one, some of them are pliers. This are the real DJ Jammy rock. Oh gosh, and them your vibe on radio station, some DJ no got. Hey, claim say them great, but them a beat them full of one bag of chat. Zion 9 is at the top of top. DJ Jammy got it locked, ever amongst the Jamaican rock. The real DJ Jammy rock. Hey, I me say back in the days, stereograph was the dana. Sound string up and the whole place ram. Super Bowl chicken a jerk in a pan. If you hear a whistle, that's the peanut man. Hey Jammy, you are the real general. The mama Sama says she love the cereal. DJ Jammy have the right material. All them fi want test the dance of all dance. This are the real DJ Jammy rock. Oh gosh, and them your vibe on radio station. Some DJ no got. Some DJ no got. Zion INS Radio. Album a star say Anna to walk and pagans with prayers. DJ Jammy Wargon family. I want some DJ imposters that claim them new music and don't have that one, some of them are pliers. This are the real DJ Jammy rock. Oh gosh, and them your vibe on radio station, some DJ no got. Hey, claim say them great, but them a beat them full of one bag of chat. Zion 9 is at the top of top. DJ Jammy got it locked, ever amongst the Jamaican rock. The real DJ Jammy rock. Hey, I me say back in the days, stereograph was the dana. Sound string up and the whole place ram. Super Bowl chicken a jerk in a pan. If you hear a whistle, that's the peanut man. Hey Jammy, you are the real general. The mama Sama says she love the cereal. DJ Jammy have the right material. All them fi want test the dance of all dance. This are the real.
Mic check 1, 2. I want Karen to go back down memory lane, you know. When remember when dancing nice, it did really nice. Hey.
Yes, the real Jamaican rock coming from my next guest, Storm.
Rock. Oh gosh, them a vibe in the dance where we want come back. Hey. Every lad to a lass and every girl to a chop. I beg you secure your spot, cause the venue pack. Real Jamaican rock. Real Jamaican rock. Hey. Back in the days, stereograph was the dana. Sound string up and the whole place ram. Super Bowl chicken a jerk in a pan. If you hear a whistle, that's the peanut man. The girl they mash a out in a them sequins trees. Jerry curl and enough powder in a chest. Lion a trod in a him England mish. Then the time there was the bam bam biddly bass. Real Jamaican rock. Hey. Them the vibe in the dance where we want come back. Oh. Every lad to a lass and every girl to a chop. I beg you secure your spot, cause the venue pack. Real Jamaican rock. Real Jamaican rock. Remember this? Wallaby clocks, buckers and top. The jeans strictly just the Belfoot pants. Prison Oval, our Opa camp. Super Cat Demos, Buru Bantan. A Ricky Toffee and the Dread Cutty ranks. Tina San, nitty gritty little John. Sugar Mine, not Youth Man promotion. Leroy Smart and Leroy Gibbon, this are the real Jamaican rock. Hey. Them your vibe in the dance where we want come back. Oh. Every lad to a lass and every girl to a chop. I beg you secure your spot, cause the venue pack. Real Jamaican rock. Real Jamaican rock. Hey. They say the dance a little no nice again, they lose its essence. I know it's all about the hype and showing off on your friends. The roots and culture are that me a defend. Real rubber dub and all the top class legends. Talking about the days of when the dance used to nicer. Every passy a come in pan bike, and them a wanna wheelie wheelie and a fly like a kite. Me a beg gonna turn up all the volume on the mic. This are the real Jamaican rock. Hey, hey, hey. Them a vibe in the dance where we want come back. Oh, oh. Every lad.
Yes, massive. Moving on with another storm. This one is called Cannabis Cup.
Oh yeah. I smoke trees and get high. To me, I them a bleed. I'm just that girl who love my weed. You smoke that skunk, now tell me how do you feel? If you feel like I do, the feeling is real. It's the healing of the nation from the stem to the seed. More trees for Easter, no bun and cheese. The real thing will make your cough or sneeze. A couple crackers bags, I'm asking please. Them see me with me cannabis cup and wonder what I'm smoking. Hey, but when them smell the smoke me up off, they know that this a no joke thing. No way, hey. See me with me cannabis cup and wonder what I'm smoking. But when them smell the smoke me up off, they know that this a no joke thing. Hey, because I love Alaska skunk. Roll it in my blunt, smoke it every day and every week and every month. The perps I love to blaze, Tasman Ace, Chocolate top, dark kaya kush. No ordinary girl, I me say me no smoke bush. Strictly the best from Westmoreland. No liquor spliff, me say me spliff it off a long. Fe walla vibes and get a meditation. Me cannabis cup and wonder what I'm smoking. Hey,
Cannabis Cup coming from Storm.
They know say this a no joke thing. No way, I see me with me.
Yes, Zena and it's Radio Massive, People's Choice Radio Massive, Island Beach Radio Massive. Coming up in just about a minute or so, my first guest, the very talented and sensational Storm. Here we go, this is another track coming from Storm called Only You. Shout out going out to Stephen MJ. Everyone just join us right now. We have Sis Cass. Apples, how are you doing this evening?
Conversations
Yes, Massive, bringing you yet another storm. This one is called Relationships. DJ Jammy here on the Mellow Vibe Show.
We love each other, but we fight and fuss.
Respect, compassion, and trust. Lord,
From both sides, that she take two of us. Look on a girl that no mean me alone.
you can't look, but you try not touch.
Just cool now, mind yourself till you bust.
Hey, sharp, stop around now.
Listen, me love your mother, know me like you.
Say that again, and what you say you do.
They don't buy you, say we inseparable.
But your love is so unpredictable. You change just like the season, eh? Tell me why, can you tell me the reason?
Your telephone that a cause the trouble. The bag a ping, ring, ticky, ting, ting.
Relationships can be rough. Whoa.
We love each other, but we fight and fuss.
Respect, compassion, and trust. Lord,
From both sides, yes, it take two of us. Look on a girl that no mean me alone.
you can't look, but you try not touch.
Just cool now. Original Mr. Pecos alongside Storm.
Hey, hey, how are we are going right this up? In general, about you want bad now? Relationships can be rough.
We love each other, but we fight and fuss.
Respect, compassion, and trust. Lord,
From both sides, that she take two of us. Look on a girl that no mean me alone.
you can't look, but you try not touch.
Just cool now, mind yourself till you bust.
Hey, sharp, stop around now.
Listen, me love your mother, know me like you.
Say that again, and what you say you do.
They don't buy you, say we inseparable.
But your love is so unpredictable. You change just like the season, eh? Tell me why, can you tell me the reason?
Your telephone that a cause the trouble. The bag a ping, ring, ticky, ting, ting.
Relationships can be rough. Whoa.
We love each other, but we fight and fuss.
Respect, compassion, and trust. Lord,
From both sides, yes, it take two of us. Look on a girl that no mean me alone.
you can't look, but you try not touch.
Just cool now, mind yourself till you bust.
Hey, sharp, stop rap now. General, you a tell me fi cook. Ingredients have it in a recipe book. The cover them this seed, they go look. If a snapper you want, get a net or a hook.
When you say the food is done, we tell you every day if you know the thing that some. We name out the food and think on the rum. No sir, how are this on this road, the sun?
Relationships can be rough. Whoa.
We love each other but we fight and fuss.
Respect, compassion, and trust. Lord,
From both sides, let's take two of us. Look on a girl that no mean me alone.
you can't look, but you try not touch.
Just cool now, mind yourself till you bust.
Hey, sharp, stop rap now.
At times we fuss and fight a lot. Baby, that's right. Let's see a minute then we make it up back. Some would have really like the fighting to start.
Hey, you must have amnesia. How this fighting to stop when you carry woman in ya? Remember tough with Lana? Hey, a World War III if me see her on the corner. Relationships can be rough. Whoa.
We love each other but we fight and fuss.
Respect, compassion, and trust, Lord.
From both sides, yes, it take two of us. Look on a girl that no mean me alone.
You can't look, but you try not touch.
Just cool now, mind yourself till you bust.
Hey, sharp, stop rap now.
If you're educationally, I never meant to. Me a go set a better example.
Hey, if me left you would have missed me little. Me charming smile and a pretty dimple.
More than a lot, how happen to you? We a go live till we all are wrinkle.
What? Wrinkle who you a talk to? Hey, spruce me, always a go spruce. Relationships can be rough. Whoa.
We love each other but we fight and fuss.
Respect, compassion, and trust, Lord.
From both sides, yes, it take two of us.
Hey, spruce me, always a go spruce.
Yes, good evening. Storm, how you doing?
Blessed love, I'm doing well. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing wonderful. DJ Jammy here from Zananis Radio. And we're also streaming live on the People's Choice Radio from out of New York and Island Beats from out of Canada. You know, it's my pleasure having you here. Really my pleasure. Just before I kick off, Storm, I just wanted to just big up all the listeners tuning in right now.
Well, you know, at the moment, Storm, I just want to big up everybody, big up all the listeners, you know, wherever you are, whether it's in Jamaica, in the United States, in Europe, or wherever. You know, just big up yourself and, you know, just thanks and, you know, for being a fan of Mama Storm and the music and the journey and the treading, you know. Just really appreciate it from me and the whole staff of Signature Records as well as Rockstone Productions.
Yes, you know, as I say again, Storm, once again, it's my pleasure having you here. But, you know, I always love to go back to the beginning of and if you can remember as far back, I mean, how far back can you remember having that deep love of music, you know, up to that point where you take it where you want to take your music to a professional level and bring it out to millions of people out there?
Well, from ever since, you know, I've always been interested in music, growing up in a household where I had a father that he had a band, just passed away recently. Had a band back in the day called the Red Dirt Band, which formerly became the Touch of Class Band. And, you know, just growing up there and just being around the music, I've always known that I wanted to be involved in music. But, you know, my father deterred me back in those days, you know, because he was a veteran in the business and been around the business for a long while. You know, He probably knew what was going on behind the scenes that I wasn't aware of. So, you know, he tried to determine, was like, you know, just focus on academics and about the music thing. You know, so, you know, wherever I went, it followed. Wherever I went, the music followed me. When I came here to the US, you know, I met up on a brethren that had a studio and, you know, went over there and was doing some works with them. And, you know, and then because of those works, then Signature, I became affiliated with Signature, got to know him via social media. And the rest is history, you know, but this is a day that I've been waiting for a long time. And, you know, sometimes I said to myself, you know, I wonder why, you know, all of this didn't happen like back when I was in my teens and, you know, and all of that. But, you know, I know it happened for a reason because my meditation, a lot of times you have to go through a lot of things for you to get your meditation circumspect enough to do the works of His Majesty. And, you know, it's just that time, and I'm just here basking in the love of the people and the love of the music and the appreciation from the people and just giving thanks, you know?
Yes, you know. Now, you mentioned that your father somehow tried to deter you from music. So tell us, how did you get back into the music, you know, with the songwriting and everything? I mean, when did, like, you know, you performing for, you know, a mass of people, you know, kind of give us a little bit of history of how that came about and the whole everything just meld, you know, coming up to right now?
Well, growing up, my father and my mother separated, and my father, he was living in St. Anne, where he originally was from, and my mother and myself, we were living in Spanish Town in the parish of St. Catherine in Jamaica. And you know, first of all, I got involved into a television program back in the day called Ring Ding.
Wow, yeah.
The honor of Louis Bellet Coverley, may her soul rest in peace. And, you know, I got involved in that, and then, you know, my mother realized that I had an inclination towards doing that, you know, because I felt comfortable on stage at that age. But I think I was probably around, like, maybe about 5 or 6 or that kind of age group. For those who aren't familiar with it would be somewhat similar to, like, the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse that they have here in the USR. You know, it was a television program back in the day. And, you know, even when I went to high school, I always took part in the barbecues, performing in the barbecues that they had there, and even in my community, you know, their barbecues, I would perform on them. And then when I went down to visit my dad on the North Coast, then, you know, he would allow me sometimes, if he's in a good mood, to do a little thing with the band.
Yes.
You know. So it's just been around for a long time. But when I realized that I really wanted to do it professionally, was my cousin. Have a cousin in Jamaica, IFRI. He was kind of, whenever I was there on the North Coast spending some time with my dad, he was kind of the one that my dad set out to watch me. You know, you have your girl picking at Jamaica.
Yes.
And because he was doing the music, so he would, you know, want my cousin to go everywhere that I would be going, so he could keep an eye on me, as I would say.
Yes.
So my cousin took me to President Brown's studio called Music Avenue in Ocho Rios, because he was affiliated with President Brown and music through President Brown. He used to play the conga drums the kettle drums for President Brown and stuff like that. So he brought me to the studio, and I was there, the whole, you know, first time I got a studio, and I was there and, you know, loved the vibes, and, and stuff like that. And it was a studio where a lot of veterans were there, you know. I remember asking Courtney Melody, you know, when he came over and he was talking to me, I said, "Are you an entertainer?" And then him just belt out, "Modern Girl," you know. So it was just a wonderful experience. And then I also met Frankie, and Frankie also is a friend of my dad, and you know, they were there playing a rhythm, and the engineer was there, and I was like, you know what, let me hear that rhythm again. I think I want to write something on the rhythm, and everybody started laughing. I said, all right. And in about a half an hour, I wrote a little song on the rhythm, and everybody was like, wow, you know. And then Frankie pulled me aside, and Frankie said, Empress, you know, I think you really should take this seriously because you have a natural knack for it. And I think you should try to pursue a career in music. So that's when I started thinking about it, like, seriously, you know?
Right. Yes, because you had the love, and then, you know, having someone who, I guess, a veteran or someone who's doing well telling you, hey, you really have what it takes.
Somebody of Frankie's caliber, you know, saying to me that, you know, he hears something in me and he sees something in me that it should take further. You know, it was just an eye-opener. You know, I always knew that I love music, but, you know, because of the deterrence from both my father and my mother, because my mother also was an avid believer in academics.
Yes.
And that to be foremost and to the front, you know, of everything else. So, you know, even when I came here to the United States, that's why I came here. I came here on a scholarship to a university here. And then, but as I said, you know, the music, I would find it and it would find me.
Right.
Wherever, you know, so, you know, I just couldn't escape it.
Yes, it's like the music was always here. Everywhere you go, it's gonna pop up. It can't hide. You know what I'm gonna do, Storm. I'm gonna go ahead and play one of your tracks here. You know, as we go to the interview, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna come back and talk a little bit about the songwriting because you know, really, there had to be something there for you to be in the studio, hear a rhythm, and right there, and then you can just half an hour. You know, that's like inborn talent. So I'm gonna drop a track. I'm gonna play this. I'm going to play this track, Missing You Mama, right?
All right.
And as I pull that track up, can you tell us a little bit about that track?
Well, I lost my mother in 2011, in March of 2011, to a case of medical malpractice here in the U.S. And, you know, my mother has always been the backbone of me. You know, my mother has always been the backbone of me. And even as an adult, you know, Mommy was just always there. You know, Mommy was just always there. Anything happened, she was there. She would back me in anything that I wanted to do. As long as she knew that I was, you know, adamant in what I wanted to do, she would support me 100%, no matter what it was. And, you know, she was a mother, a friend, a very, very close friend. And when I lost her, you know, this was just my way of expressing myself, of getting the feelings out of me. You know, it was just because that's what I do. You know, when I have feelings that I want to release, I release them through writing, and this was just a way of release, a means of release for me. And Signature heard it, and you know, he decided that it should be on the album.
Okay, you know, Storm. So this is, you know, From Your Heart to Mama. I'm gonna go ahead and play a little bit of this, and then we're gonna come back and talk a little bit more. You know, Zananis Radio. People's Choice Radio and Island Beats Radio. This is DJ Jammy. My special guest, and as you've heard for the music I've played before, very talented young lady. I mean, super talent. Here we go, this track, Missing You Mama.
Oh, this song is for someone that lost a mom. Oh, yeah. I wanna call you. Mama, I wanna call ya. What would I say? Hey, I'm missing you. Oh, that friendly smile I know. I'm missing you. I'm missing you so much. I'm missing you. And the things we used to do. I'm missing you. I miss you. Hey mama, I hope everything alright.
Yes, Missing You Mama, coming from Star Massive. You can hear the lyrics. As I do it, I just give you tastes of the music, because when you hear it and you love it, by the time we're done, we'll let you know where you can get all these tracks, and so you can directly support the artists and stuff. Now, Storm,
Yes, yes.
getting back to you talking about being in the studio now, and here, first time in the studio, you hear the rhythm and you vibe it and you say, wow, you just write something. I mean, where did this writing ability start for you? I mean, prior to that, were you writing music? Were you writing poems? And tell us about, writing for you.
Well, I can remember when I was younger, as a child, I always had a very active imagination and a very creative imagination. And the English language has always been something that I gravitated to in school. So, in school they taught us how to write creatively, how to put your thoughts, on paper, properly on paper. So I've always focused on that, because I've always had a knack for that. Because, I grew up in a household where it was okay to be verbal. It was okay as a child for you to be heard. My mother allowed me to have a voice as a child and to express my feelings as a child. So, I've always had that feeling of expressing myself openly. So it just came natural. It just comes natural.
Right. You just do it. So, getting back to that.
You know what? You know what, Jammy? Sometimes you listen to some as an artist. I don't know about another artist, but at times when I hear a particular rhythm, when I hear a particular instrumental to a song,
yes,
so a particular instrumental, it just gives me a vibe, depending on the rhythm, because sometimes you can hear a rhythm and it takes you a while to write a song. It takes you a while to write a song, and then you can't hear a next rhythm. I love the core of the rhythm. I love the drums, and I love the bass.
Yes.
The bass is the instrument that I tend to gravitate to the most. And when I hear a rhythm with a heavy bass line, it just motivates me to just write and write and write and write and write. Sometimes I'll write 3 songs for the same rhythm. Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Music is power. Music gives you some ability that sometimes you not even know you have.
Yes. So when the music hit you, it just get into your body and just flow. It just start flow. Yes.
Yeah, man. When the music lit me, man, I go crazy, man. My penmanship get out of control.
Yes, yeah, man. So tell me, from that point on now, I'm sure. So at that point, you really start thinking and say, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take it serious. So tell us a little bit about the journey from that point now. When here you already had the love. Now you know that you have the ability and the talent to pursue music. So tell us a little bit about the journey from that point up until now.
Well, when Frankie said what he said to me, and my meditation towards the music changed up, and I started taking it seriously with regards to my personal self and my self growth as an artist. I started to write, because he encouraged me also to write, and I started to write. But at the same time, I had gotten through with 2 scholarships. One a scholarship for university here in the US, and a scholarship for university in the UK.
Yeah.
And I opted to come to the US because my mom was here. She's been here since I was about 17. So I was forced to grow up a little bit early. So my mom was here, and I opted to come here, and then I started focusing on school, because I also had a little one with me that came here with me. So you have a little one, and then the school thing, and then you feel like you're an adult, so you feel so you have to work too, because you really want to sit down and just rely on family to take care of you, especially when you have a youth.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have work, and then you have school, and then you have to spend time with the youth. So, all of that took up my time. So I kind of put the music aside for a while and just focused on that. And then after I started working in my field, and I started going to the studio, because that has always been in me. And then my brother told me about a studio that he had, because I was also working on a local radio station here in Baltimore.
Yes.
And he told me about a little studio that him have, and go over there and meds, all the meds, and just start write some crazy things. But at that time, to be honest with you, at that time, my meditation was different. It was on the music, but it was on a different aspect of the music, namely dancehall.
Yes.
So my lyrics were kind of lewd. The lyrics were kind of lewd, and mommy never really liked it, and she saw the talent in me, but she never really appreciated what I was saying. So when I lost her, I just came closer to self.
Right.
I just came closer to self, and then I was on a show here in Baltimore, and that it was a veteran show with artists like Johnny Osborne, General Pecos, Junior Demos, Junior Cat, Yami Bolo, to name a few.
Yeah.
And I remember I was on stage and I was doing a song called Daddy, Where Were You? I voiced over that song for Signature. That was released in September of last year. It's also available on iTunes. Let me just squeeze in a quick ad. Available on iTunes, Amazon,
yes,
and
definitely.
You know the thing already.
Of course.
We have to squeeze in one thing when you can. So, when they heard me, everybody came out and they was like, whoa, because I was saying I was like, Daddy, where were you? Daddy, where were you? Oh, Mommy was all I knew. Daddy, where were you? Hey, hello, Daddy, are you there? 'Cause my heart is filled with fear. Can't believe that you left me here. Don't you love me? Don't you care? In school, I'll try to do good. I'll be the daughter that I know I should. Ate all my carrots and all my peas, so Daddy, please come home. Hey, Daddy, where were you? So when I started singing that song, because as I told you, my mother and my father, they separated.
Yeah.
Separated when I was about when I was probably about 7. When I was probably about 7 that age, and he tried to play his part. God rest his soul. As best as he could. But the life of a musician, it go already.
Yes.
Road life.
Mm-hmm.
And then the girls them gravitate, and I don't think I need to say anymore. So, the case was like that, and but we always maintain a close relationship, even though there were some things that he was doing that I never agreed with, and I made that clear to him.
Yes.
But we kind of had that that father-daughter relationship, but also that virgin and virgin relationship too, where we would sit down and hold a certain reasoning. So anyway, I sang that song, and everybody came out and they were like, yeah, nice. And then after that, I had a next song with some lewd lyrics, and everybody go back inside.
So you realize, say,
wow. Yeah, I said, boy, it look like this slackness thing now gonna really work. So when I came on stage now, General Pecos approached me, and he said to me, Empress, first of all, you're too nice for sing them song there. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing, you have too much talent to be singing those kind of lyrics. So then he introduced me to Rastafari, and, the personal closeness that I have gotten now with Rastafari has also afforded me to get a personal closeness with self, and then the meditation change up. So when the meditation change up, say the music have to change as well.
Right.
And the structure of the music have to change as well. So, I find myself spitting lyrics now that I didn't even know that I had in me. That sometimes even when I'm in the studio and I finish recording, I'm like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
Where did I get that from? Because a lot of times His Majesty does take over, because we're here to do His work, and we're chosen to do His work, and that is what the journey is about.
Yes.
Love, unity, oneness, respect for your fellow man, and just helping each other out, Not feel a way to help out your brother, because that's what the thing said.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just a wonderful feeling, Jammy. I can't even tell you.
Right. I can hear it in a voice. It's like you go through a process of growth. and maturity, and it's not just something you just say, boy, yeah, I do this because everybody I do it or whatever. It's an actual rebirth in a sense.
Yeah,
Yes.
most definitely. I want to say, even when I'm striding down the street, even when I'm walking,
Mm-hmm.
I walk a posture upful, because now I'm walking with a purpose. Because a lot of times we don't take the time to get to know ourselves and to be one with ourselves and to have that spiritual connection so we can know exactly what our purpose in life is. So when you come to the realization of what that purpose is, and you can identify and you can relate, it's just a wonderful thing, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely. I'm gonna drop another track, right? But what I'm gonna do is have you choose the next track. So tonight I'm gonna put you into the selector seat. So we have your singer-songwriter, and tonight, and I'm sure being what did you do at the radio station? Were you an announcer, a radio show presenter? What did you do?
Yeah, I had a little show. I had a little segment for myself on Thursday nights called Real Talk.
All right.
Where we would talk about current affairs, things that's happening in the community, as well as outside of the community and outside of where we're living, of our diaspora.
Mm-hmm.
So, just holding a vibe with the people. People would call in and express their feelings about certain things. Whatever is happening in the news, we will talk about it, as well as just music in general and just, those little things.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Right. So you do have some of the selectress experience already. So I'm gonna have to select the next track that you'd like for me to play for the massive, just to give them a taste of the album. And we're gonna come back and talk about some more things. We're gonna talk about the album and making of the album and everything. We have enough things to talk about. So what's the next track you'd like for them to hear?
You can play the track called Mr. Entertainer.
All right.
Yeah, you can play that one, and then we'll talk about it after you finish playing it.
All right, cool. Let me go ahead and I'm looking through here, Mr. Entertainer. Here we go, massive. Once again, Zananis Radio, People's Choice Radio, Island Beach Radio. Another track coming from a special guest, Storm. Here we go.
Expose them to music that's so demonic, satanic, psychotic, erratic. You're so robotic, following the fads and the fancies of men in this world who have billboards that seem so bionic. I watch your Panasonic while you're smoking the chronic. Your eyes start glitter cause you wanna live the life of a jigger, so you barter your soul for $1, misleading the toddler. Oh yeah, you are the real Pied Piper, Mr. Entertainer. You're so entertaining, Mr. Superstar. Oh, your words show me just who you are. Just give you this if you never choose it, so be careful how you use it. I get so nostalgic when I think of our icons of music. Stananichi boy, you're really quite contrary, praising Jah while you speak of brutality. Oh, I really love your clarity, but I pity your morality and your verbal hypocrisy. Fire burn your corrupted malarkey. Hey, what you doing to we music? We sweet reggae music.
Yes, Mr. Entertainer. I'm telling you, Storm, I love that. Really love that track, Mr. Entertainer. Now, I want to ask you, a few questions pertaining to that track. Something that but tell me a little bit about that track and personally, your inspiration when you write that track. What were some of the things that you were thinking about or reflecting on at the time that you write that track?
Well, I really wrote that track, just to send a message to my fellow entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
And also radio personnel or whoever is involved in the music and the sharing of the music, to the public. Saying that, just expressing my views as not only an artist, but also as a parent, as a consumer. Because a lot of times you have entertainers that they force themselves to stay in that box of the movie starting and just being an entertainer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm a mother, I have kids, I have children that listen to the radio and stuff like that. So I just wanted to reach out, you know, not condemning them or anything like that. You know, because we don't really believe in the condemning people and stuff like that, because we just say love and unity. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to clarify myself and say that I'm not pleased. I'm not pleased at a lot of the things that I see going on. You know, you have been given this talent from Jah. Be careful how you're using it. You know, because entertainers, we have a very powerful job.
Yes.
You know, because we have a global forum, and a lot of people are listening to these things that we're saying, and a lot of the youth them idolize we and stuff like that. So we have to force ourselves to be circumspect in what we're doing and what we're saying, especially when we're in the eyes of the public. And not only then, that's with liberty. You know, that's with liberty, because when you listen as a consumer, you know, when you listen, you know, you can't hear the realness in the music. Just like how if you go to the store and you're buying something, you know what I'm saying, and you want to buy the brand that you're sure of.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because you read the ingredients, and you know, so this is the ingredients that is good for me. You know what I'm saying? So we're not going to buy the thing them that have, you know, a whole heap of sugar and a whole heap of this and a whole heap of that and a whole heap of that. You know, that is just the core of the music. To me, you know, that is just how I look at it as an entertainer. I just think that is how it should be. You know, but I'm not trying to impose my thoughts on anyone. But that is just how I feel. You know, that is just how I feel. And music is my forum. You know, music is my forum, and it's what I use to express my feelings. And it's just expressing my feelings and saying, you know, let's unite. Let's unite and spread this message. Because we have this right in front of us. We have the forum right in front of us to utilize. Let's utilize it the right way, brethren.
Yes. You know, I'm going to tell you this time. You see, this track actually, you know, and I can say probably from the album is one of my most favorite track. And one of the reasons why I've always said that music is probably one of the most influential mediums out there. You know what I mean? It's more so than even watching a movie or reading a book or anything like that. Because when you hear music, the lyrics are the message within the music. The listener, the consumer somehow take on the spirit within that music. So it's like when somebody listens to a love song, it brings on that feeling of romance or anything like that. And it's the same way if you listen to something where it bring out violence or something like that. You find majority of who are listening or hearing that song, it brings on kind of that tough, you know, like, oh, you see, Fall Out Boy, look for me and we are that kind of thing, you know, within the music. And, you know, to...
The thing about it is, you know, music is also a way of advertisement.
Yes.
You know, as if you notice, even in the commercials, they use music to convince the people that, okay, well, if you buy this thing, it's better than that thing or whatever. You know, so when we're singing, we're actually advertising. We're actually advertising our beliefs and showing people what we believe and all that. And if they want to buy the product, they buy the product.
Right.
If we're selling greed, if we are sell war, if we are sell gun, who want buy it or buy it?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So we just need to be aware. We just need to be aware, because a lot of people are just doing things that they're not aware of what they are doing, and they're not aware of how powerful what they are doing is, and how effective and how effective and how it can affect others.
Yes. You know, now let me ask you this, Storm, and you know, you said it already, but just to elaborate a little bit. You know, being a musician and being out there where millions of people hear your music, and as you know, you're a role model, because a lot of people look up to you, from little kids who hear your music up to the grandmother who hear your music, right? So when people hear the music coming from Storm, you know, for you personally, what would it that you would like for them to take away from listening to your music or get out of listening to Storm's music?
I would just, I would just love if they would just listen to the message. You listen to the message. Because a lot of time we listen to music, but we don't really listen to the message. We listen to the beat and the tone in the person's voice and stuff like that, but we don't really listen to the message. So just take the time to listen to the message. If it means that you have to play it over 2 or 3 times before they play it over 2 and 3 times and get the message, because that is what I'm pushing, and that is what I'm sending the message. So that is what I want the people to get. That's the message of love. And the power of us as a people, and the power of us united as a people. You know what I'm saying? So if the item get that, I would say that my job is a job well done, because that is what I set out to do.
Right.
That's what I set out to do.
Mm-hmm. Now listen to your music, and even there's the process of maturity and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure there has to be a root. Growing up, who were some of the artists that you listened to, or who were some of those artists, regardless of genre, that you would say inspire you? Or, growing up, who were some of those artists you admire and listen to their music and, pull stuff from it?
Well, I'm going to answer the question, but I'm not going to answer it only growing up in my formative years, because I'm still growing.
Right.
I'm still growing,
Yes.
And I'm still being inspired right now by a lot of artists. But in my younger days, I used to listen to artists like Cynthia Slash, Pat Boone. My mother used to listen to that kind of thing. Al Green and Marcia Griffiths and Dennis Brown, and when we go look for my father, because my mother was more like a Christian lady, so she used to listen to like the Skeeter Davis and the Miriam Makeba and the Grace Trillers and then when we go country go look for my father then may I hear some Dennis Brown and some Frankie Paul and some Barris, because Barris was a friend of my dad too, and a lot of time when they were having rehearsals, they would come there. And back in the day, that time you used to have man like Sly and Robbie that was in my father's band. That time the band was Red Dirt.
Yes.
So I used to listen to like Sly and Robbie. Then you have Dean Fraser that was there too, and then you have man like Mikey Spice that was there, and just a lot of different artists, doing that, a lot of different type of music, that I would tune into and listen to how they would spit lyrics, and then now you have for DJs now, because we come from Spanish Town now, you have man like Papa San, and you have Lady G, and you have man like Chronicle.
Yeah.
From out De La Vega City there in a Spanish Town, and I will listen to these people as well, and then growing up now, I get exposed to other things, and my ears start tuning into different type of things, like the Black Eyed Peas and Lauryn Hill and Floetry and there's a lot of different types of music, Kenny Rogers, and I used to listen to that a lot. I listen to a lot of culture, so I listen to a whole array of different types of music.
Yes.
So that's why I don't limit myself. I wouldn't say I would limit myself to just reggae. That's where my strength is. But I'm musically inclined anywhere it takes me. Anywhere it takes me, I'm musically inclined in that direction, because it's all about, as I said before, the message. It doesn't matter the way you're sending the message, as long as the message is received. That is what we're all about.
Right. So in this Storm, you're getting a little bit of every flavor. It's like a combination of everything, and you just take that and make your own pot. You cook your own pot with all the ingredients and stuff. Yeah, man.
We have a little rocky road sometime, a little ups and downs flavor ice cream. Then we have a little rum and raisin on Fridays. You know the thing already.
Yes.
So it's just a whole heap of different flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, Storm, through doing music, right, and up to this point, I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of memorable moments, but what would you say is one or two of your most memorable moments? Like those things where you can look back and remember, and it's just, no matter how big or small, where you can say, yeah, I remember that specific moment, I remember this instance, as far as, from a musical perspective.
Well, I can say, personally,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say from a personal perspective too, because that's also very important to me. When I changed the music, when my meditation changed, mm-hmm. and then the music changed. My first show that I did was here in Baltimore, and you know, this is the first time anybody was seeing me. Since the meditation changed up and since we started roaming at and stuff like that. And I was on stage and I was there singing, and I started out with a song called Lioness.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, I am a lioness, love is majesty, king, your highness. You know, just talking about the struggles of life and stuff like that, and how important it is to be close to Jah. You know, and I remember when I came off stage, a little girl came to me. I think she was probably about 7 or 8. And she came up to me and she said, Storm, I love your music. I love your music. And for the whole night, this little girl would not leave me. Almost every picture, she was in there with me. And, you know, she was just like, man, her mom was just like, oh, my God, she is just so obsessed with you. You know, so just that feeling, because, you know, it just felt good.
Yes.
It just felt good. You know,
right.
for another little empress growing up to look up to me. You know, to look up to me and can say to me that, wow, I want to be like you. You know, so that was a very humbling experience for me. And then also, I was on a show here in Baltimore as well, and Junior Kelly was on the show, and I remember I was up there, and when I came off, he walked up to me. He hadn't performed yet, but he came out of the dressing room, and he was there watching the performance. And when I came off, he said to me, wow. He said, Mama, he said, if you continue on this path and sending that message, them can't hold you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was humbling for somebody like Junior Kelly to come and say that to me, you know, who at that time nobody knew much about, you know. So it was just a humbling experience to me, as well as the other day I was doing an interview on a radio station in Gambia. And the empress that was interviewing me said to me that she saw Frankie Paul because he lives there now in Gambia. She saw him at a festival, and you know, I came up in the conversation, and he was saying how impressed he was and of everything that was going on. You know, so that felt good personally to me, because this was the man that really caused me to stop and really think about the music on a different level.
Yes. Yes, you know, niceness. All right, I tell you what, Storm, another track. So I'm going to put you back into the selectors box.
Okay. You can play Telephone Love. You know, that this is a remix that I did of JC Lodge, the original Telephone Love done by JC Lodge. You know, she has always been an artist too that I always loved her music ever since, you know, I was a young child. And you know, it's so funny because I was on the phone with Signature, and I was actually at work.
Yes.
And I was getting my lunch together, and I was singing Telephone Love. And he was like, wow, you sing that so good. I would love to hear you. Do that song. You know, but we hadn't even decided that it was going to be on the album yet. But when I voiced it and he heard it, he was like, this definitely has to be on the album. You know?
Niceness. Telephone Love. Yes, here we go again. Zion Radio, People's Choice Radio, and Island Beats Radio. You hear the very sensational, very talented Storm. Here we go. Telephone Love. Yes, Telephone Love. All right. You know, now we kept talking about the album. You know, let's get down to the album first. This is your first album, right?
Yeah, this is my first album.
All right. You know, so tell us about, and what's the name of this album?
Well, the name of the album is Nostalgia. That's Nostalgia. Produced by Signature Records. It's being distributed by VP Records. It's available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, eMusic, Juno Downloads, and a host of other online stores. And this idea came about because when Signature had signed me after the first two songs I did for him, he said to me he would love to produce an album with me, and I said okay, and he said okay, do you have any idea of what kind of album would you want to do? And I said, as an artist that I just love the old school flavor. I just can't get it out of my bones. I just love the old school flavor. I love the new school thing too, some of it, but I just love the old school flavor, the sound of real instruments, not instruments that are digital and stuff like that. I just love the sound of real instruments. And I said, I wanted to do something to kind of just give kudos to the veterans of music, as well as take the listener back to that good old time of reggae music where that feeling was there, that feeling of warmth and just brothership and friendship in the dance, and it wasn't so commercialized as the all the materialistic things then we then put on it and all that thing and all the frills and all that stuff. Just the core of the music, and I really wanted to take the listener there, and this was just my way of saying thank you. And also that I appreciate what these veterans have done, and they allowed me to find my uniqueness in music. It was their inspiration that allowed this uniqueness from me in music. So this was just my way of saying thanks.
Yes. So the name of the album, Nostalgia. Tell us about this. How did you come up with this name for the album? Did you go through a series of names before choosing Nostalgia?
No, as soon as I thought about what I wanted to do, then the name just came into mind, because nostalgia is about about that place that you can remember, that pleasant place that you can remember, that stays alive in your memory, So I wanted to share that feel with the listeners. So then I decided, Nostalgia is the perfect name for that. Perfect name. So really didn't have no problem deciding on the name. The name just came.
Yes. So talking about this album, when you decide to do this album, what were some, you talk about you want to bring out the old school feel, but overall, what did you want to bring out in this album about, your first album, the Storm album, and when fans hear this, tell us about some of your personal thoughts and process in putting together this album and choosing the tracks and all that.
Well, just to show my versatility, and not only the versatility, but also to incorporate a lot of different meditations in it, yet still maintaining that feeling of nostalgia, but incorporating a lot of different real meditations into it, real things, real issues that are happening. And namely a track that I have on there called Me Are the Gun, and there's a whole lot of different things, and then real Jamaican rock now. That song was like my baby,
Yes.
That song was like my baby, and I must say that I'm so happy that I acquired the response that I wanted, because a lot of people listen to the song and they say, boy, you just capture the whole. I just feel like I'm there. So just incorporating not only that feel of the music, but also incorporating my own uniqueness, my own sound, and not trying to go beyond that, like sounding like anybody else, but just my own sound. Because even when I did Telephone Love, I tried to do it in my own sound. Yes. And added, if you played it a little bit longer, you'd hear some different touches, just a star minute. But just taking you back to that place of nostalgia, as well as talking about some real issues, as well as giving kudos to the veteran, and actually the album, it was also dedicated to my mother and Signature's mother, because he also lost his mom. So we decided that we were going to dedicate the album to them both.
Yes. Nostalgia. All right. Let's give them another track from Nostalgia. And, I want to choose a track because, I do want them to get the full effect. Everything we play so far, I've been feeling it. I know the listeners are feeling it, But not only that, remember the Storm album, Nostalgia, and it's available on iTunes, CD Baby, Google Play, where else, Storm?
Amazon eMusic, Google Play, Juno.
So you name it. So Google Storm Nostalgia, and you'll find it. So what's the next track you want us to give them?
You can give them Princess Black, the combination with me and Eddie Fitzroy.
All right. Whoa, Eddie Fitzroy. Yes, Eddie Fitzroy, man. Big time. Whoa.
From your son, I know, so you want to talk about how the song come about. You can't ask me before or after, no matter.
Yeah, all right. Let me play it and then we'll come back, yeah?
All right.
Manners and respect to all my fellow lioness. That I can deliberate. I stand on Eddie Fitzroy, all a joy.
She's a storm. She's a precious woman. Princess Black. Always saying, she tougher than a rock.
Yeah, black woman, strong woman, me love your meditation. AI, hardworking woman, source of life, the mother of creation.
She's a precious woman. Princess Black. Always saying, she tougher than a rock. She's a precious woman. Princess Black. Always saying, she tougher than a rock. Anything that is progressive, she always innovate. She works from 8 to 5 just to keep her youth them alive.
You gotta work for what you want, cause you can't reap before you plant.
Whoa, Storm, tell you I'm getting some pull-up requests in this. I'm just going to take it from the top and make a little piece more of it. But trust me, Massive, you have to get this album.
Manners and respect to all my fellow lioness. That I can deliberate. I stand on Eddie Fitzroy, all a joy.
She's a storm. She's a precious woman. Princess Black. Always saying, she tougher than a rock.
Yeah, black woman, strong woman, me love your meditation. AI, hardworking woman, source of life, the mother of creation.
She's a precious woman. Princess Black. Always saying, she tougher than a rock. She's a precious woman. Princess Black. Always saying, she tougher than a rock. Anything that is
Yes, Massive, I know you're loving it. I'm just giving you taste because trust me. Right now, I want y'all to be on your computers, and if you're on the phone, because you can do it from your phone too. Go to Amazon.com and all of that kind of stuff and pull it, Because, I know you want me to pull up the tune again, but trust me, you go ahead and get the album and you can pull it up over and over and over and over again. That's true, Storm?
That's true, man.
Yes. Yes.
You could have pulled it up for them one more time till me don't know.
All right, but drop it for them again. But let's start. Eddie Fitzroy. Tell me about the coming together of this album, because whoa, an artist like Eddie Fitzroy. Whoa, tell me about it.
Yeah, it and I wouldn't even say it was coincidental, because a lot of we don't believe that a lot of things are just mere coincidences. So Eddie was voicing an album in Signature Studio with Signature, and Signature threw it out there. Eddie is here voicing his album and stuff like that. Would you consider doing a combination with him? So I said, wow, are you serious? And he said, yeah, I told him about you, and he listened to your songs, and he loved your songs instantly because he was there in the studio and he listened like to every song that we had done so far that was for the album. He was just there, told him I made done the song, and he was so impressed. And I said sure. So Signature then asked me, do you want to do a new song, a different song, or do you want to do one of his old songs? You want to do a combination with one of his old songs? And I said, well, that would be awesome, and Princess Black was one of my favorites from way back when, as a little kid, trying to make that little sound that Eddie make. Every little kid in Jamaica, they try to make that little sound that Eddie make. So it was so humbling. And then that song, I could also relate to that song personally. So it was just a wonderful experience to do this combination.
Yes. No, in doing this album, what would you say was probably your best part of doing this album for you, as far as experiences wise? What was one of your best experiences as far as putting together Nostalgia?
Well, my best experience is working with Signature, and I have to big him up there in Jamaica, Mr. Dollar Thompson. I'm pretty sure he's there listening, Everett Thompson. Working with Signature, it was a joy. It was a joy. He made. It was hard work. It was a lot of hard work, because we wanted to get it out there. We thought about the album probably about 3-4 months prior to its release. We wanted to get it out there, and actually, I wanted to get it out there on my mom's birthday, which is January the 1st. But we never got it done for January the 1st. We got it out on the 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
But just working with Signature and being afforded the ability to do such great combinations with such great artists, namely Michael Buckley, General Pecos, and Eddie, and I got to meet Michael through General Pecos. They're both friends, and when he came, because he came to Maryland, because he lives in Canada, he came to Maryland to voice some dub plates and stuff for our brother here, and I mentioned the album to him, and then he agreed, to do a combination, and it's just a humbling experience because I never imagined. I know I have big dreams and I have big aims, and,
yes.
I have a big heart, and I'm very strong-willed. But like Eddie, it's just a wonderful experience. The whole album, doing the whole album, it was just a joy. It was just a joy. And Signature was with it 100%, and anything that I wanted to do, he allowed me to express myself creatively however I chose to, and that was just a wonderful feeling.
Yes, Now, Storm, let me answer this. With the social networks, we have a lot of people listening. Pretty much from all corners of the earth. With technology today, gives us that ability, where, the fans can get, somewhat personal with the artists. So as far as social networks, so, if the fans want to hit you up and say, Storm, I love the interview, Storm, I love your music, or even to follow up and see where you're going to be performing and things like that, how can they keep up with you and get all this information?
I'm on Facebook. You can check me out on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, The Real Storm, that's DA. Space STORM space REAL space STORM, and I'm also on Twitter, The Real Storm 01. I'm on SoundCloud, The Real Storm, again on SoundCloud. I'm on YouTube, Lady Storm 01. I'm on Reverb Nation, The Real Storm. I'm on Mixcloud, The Real Storm again. So you can look me up via that media, or you can also go to Facebook, Mr. Everett Thompson. Or you can look for Signature Records also on Facebook, as well as you can also link Soldier Rockstone from Rockstone Production on Facebook, Soldier Rockstone on Facebook. So, and also big up Soldier there in New York. I know that he's also listening. Big up every time. I respect every time.
Yes, talking about and the business aspects of music, with reggae music, one thing, when it comes to sound system, they're always interested in getting dub plates. Or if there's anyone who want to book Storm or do Storm, work with Storm, how would they be able to get in touch with your management team? Is there an email or some type of contact, for promoters, producers, or anybody who would love to do work with you?
Yeah, you can hook up with Signature. You can send him an email. It's signature. You can two emails: signaturemusicpromotions@gmail.com, as well as signaturemusicgroup at gmail.com. So you can hook him up there.
Yes, very easy to remember. signaturemusicproductions@gmail.com or
No,
signature
promotion, not production, Jammy.
promotions. All right. signaturemusicpromotions@gmail.com and signature music group
Yes.
@gmail.com.
Yeah, and they also have a website. You can also check out the website of Signature Music Group. I think it's www.signaturemusicgroupinc.
All right. www.signaturemusicgroupinc. INC. All right. No, Storm, over a musical career, I'm sure you've done a lot of performances and you travel different places and stuff to do your music. Tell us about some of those performances that you've done and places you've been, and name a place that leave a lasting impression, and somewhere you go and you say, boy, I would go back here tomorrow if.
Well, I would definitely say I'm in love with California. I love California so much. I'm also in love with done about 2 shows in California. Done about also 2 shows in Atlanta, and the response was amazing. Delaware also was amazing. Here in the U.S., Baltimore also is amazing. About New York, oh my God, man, the people them love me down there, to Jammy. I can't tell you. Lord of mercy, they love my man.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have not been touring outside of the US yet. We're working on that right now. We have some things coming up soon towards the end of this year, and we have some crazy things lined up for next year. Doing a tour, a couple countries in Africa, and a couple countries also in the UK. In Europe. So we're looking forward to that, as well as a couple of small islands, as well as my hometown, Jamaica. So it's just crazy love. We're just getting love. We're getting love from people that sometimes the people them link me up on Facebook, and I cannot understand what they're saying. But boy, thank God for Google Translator, yeah, man. Yeah, man. I tell you, we just have to work with it.
Right,
and it's just the response of the people it's just been amazing. People from all over the world, from Sweden, from Austria. Just showing you how music can bridge all gaps. All these people are just reaching out and saying, a lot of them, they don't understand. Sometimes they don't even understand the words to the music, but they can feel. They can feel the feeling that I put into the music, and it's just humbling. It's just really, really humbling. May I tell you, man, for real, man, it's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling where you can do something and the people them accept it and gravitate towards it, and it's something that you can be proud of.
Yes. Yeah. So as far as the album, do you have a personal favorite track on that album? That track that is like your baby. Where it's I'm sure you love all of them, but is there that one track that you love over the rest of them?
Yeah, I love all of them. I think my personal favorite though would be track number 1, as it says, track number 1. The real Jamaican rock. The real Jamaican rock, and it's because I'm talking about my people. I'm talking about my people, and it does give me that vibe, that I would love to see back in the dance hall again, and just that unity, where 2 man up on a sound and them a DJ, and chat a DJ, and him a pass the mic to Burrow, and Burrow get the mic, and him give to Cutty, and then Cutty give, just that feel. That feel.
So say no about them thing Storm, when it's just a circle and from one DJ to the next.
I want to tell you, man. You tell you on Facebook yesterday about the thing there.
Yeah.
About the Uncle Star bird. A long time we know this,
Yes, a true thing, and yes, serious, and those were the days, though. There was, I think, there was a certain amount of love there that was just it was. Well, I Can't really explain it.
And you know what though, as we keep preaching, preaching it every day, unity is power.
Yes.
Unity is power, unity is strength. And remember saying, Jammy, back in them day there, all when you're a youth I grow up and you're in a community, all in here can see up on the street or do something wrong, I hold you and give you a proper arsenal,
Yes, a true thing.
They won't be parents, people looked out for each other.
Yes, true thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Because I was telling my children growing up, if I'm going to do something wrong, the first thing we do is look in all four directions, to see if anybody...
Yeah, what a true thing, man, I tell you.
Yeah, and it really made a difference back then, It's like them say, it doesn't take... It takes a village to raise a child, and that's how it was back then,
Yeah, man, for real, man. I tell you, I got treated in a jungle because I was a little youth now where always busybody. Always busybody, and wherever trouble was the dish, that is where I want to be. You know what I'm saying? So if the boy them go bush, because me used to have some cousin, I grew up with a lot of male cousins, and if them go bush, me behind them going too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, see a lot of that go on. I tell you, man, they must have liquor make it when me liquor, man. My person me work and grow big, man. And my mother never play, No man, she never play, man. Never play.
No, man, a serious thing, When you look back, those were some of the sweetest days, man, I tell you.
Yeah, and you know what? The kids, in those days, they spent more time with themselves. Now they're spending more time with all these gadgets.
Nintendo.
They're more familiar with these gadgets than they would probably be familiar with them brother and them sister or them friend with them go to school with and them something there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of sad.
Right, Yes, because when we're going up, once we get up and we get out the house, there's no going inside of the house and all them unless rain or fall, I want to see, man. You think a little bit of coconut tree will peel off and catch lizard and them something like. Yeah, man. True, man. Coconut, mango, sweet sap.
Yeah, and then growing up in Spanish Town, Spanish Town isn't what it used to be, Because Spanish Town was a place now where we grew up in a Spanish Town, and you have the museum and the Arawak Museum where we used to go after school, and you look at all these artifacts and you get familiar with your culture.
Yes.
You get familiar with your culture, and it was safe for you to walk home from school and with your friend them, and you walk home from school, and you were safe. Now you have to wonder if, I also had another track called Mr. Pedophile. It's not on the album. It was released prior to the album where I was talking about this issue of pedophilia.
Mm-hmm.
That's a global issue. And, just addressing it as a parent and just addressing the situation. Back in the day, it was a different feeling. But as I said, unity because, everybody look out for each other. And I remember even growing up back then, we had neighborhood watch committee and people just watch out for each other's houses and stuff like that, It's a different feel now. Now it's every man for themselves.
Yes, that's so true. I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and give them 2 tracks. Then we're going to come back and talk about some things and wrap everything up. I'm going to go ahead and play number 1 track, Real Jamaican Rock, because I love that one, the rhythm and everything. And then I'm going to go behind and drop some of Mr. Pedophile. And massive, as you're listening, I know you've been hearing tracks I've been playing from the album, and I've been giving you bits and pieces of it. Remember, the name of the album is Nostalgia, and you can find it on iTunes, CD Baby, Google Play, Amazon.com. It's on Rhapsody too?
I think it's on Rhapsody.
Right, so all the download links, and when you're not sure, all you have to do is go to Google, You can find Google or Bling or, all those links and type in Storm Nostalgia. All right, so here we go, Real Jamaican Rock.
Yeah, mic check 1, 2. I want Karen to go back down memory lane, Remember when dancing nice? It did really nice. Hey, hey, hey. When me say, hey, this is the real Jamaican rock. Oh gosh, them a vibe. Inna the dance where we want come back. Hey, hey, hey. Every lad to a lass and every girl to a chop. I beg you secure your spot. Cause the venue back. Real Jamaican rock. Real Jamaican rock. Hey, hey, hey. Back in the days, Terrograph was the dan. Yeah, mic check 1, 2. I want Karen to go back down memory lane, you know. But remember when dancing nice? It did really nice. Hey, hey, hey. When me say, hey, this is the real Jamaican rock. Oh gosh, them a vibe. Inna the dance where we want come back. Hey, hey, hey. Every lad to a lass and every girl to a chop. I beg you secure your spot. Cause the venue back. Real Jamaican rock. Real Jamaican rock. Hey, hey, hey. Back in the days, Terrograph was the dan. Sound string up and the whole place ram. Super Bowl chicken a jerk in a pan. If you hear a whistle, that's the peanut men. The girl they mash a out in a them sequins trees. Jerry curl enough powder in a chest. Lion a trod in a him England mish. Them the time there was the bam bam biddly bass. Real Jamaican rock. Hey, hey, hey. Them the vibe. Inna the dance where we want come back. Oh, oh, oh. Every lad to a lass and every girl to a chop. I beg you secure your spot. Cause the venue park. Real Jamaican rock.
Real Jamaican rock. Moving on the next track, Mr. Pedophile.
You're all a big man of pray. Fire for the whole of them. Perverted molesters of little children. Lucifer, your life condemn. A lightning and thunder, brimstone, me a send out a fire for the Eden. Persecute, execute them, man, they fi hang. Grab a brick, make we stun them. Me suffering, me so pedophile. Erasing the joy of an innocent child. Out of bleed on me blood a boil. Your days are go bitter, your head it a go vile. Burn a fire for your dirty style. Abusing the babies from me, cause some my youthful faces without smiles. Solitary is a child who was once so agile. How do you do it? How do you summer at night can't see through it? Only man and him foot make we slew it. Dash a big fireball, make we stew it. That's a fire for the whole of them. Perverted molesters of little children. Lucifer, your life condemn. A lightning and thunder, brimstone, me a send. As a fire for the Eden. Persecute, execute them, man, they fi hang. Grab a brick, make we stun them. The Bible says that whoever caused one of these little ones to sin, it would be better for him to have a great millstone fastened around his neck and drowned in the depths of the sea. Hot a fire for the whole of them. Perverted molesters of little children. Lucifer, your life condemned.
Yes, hot a fire for the whole of them, Mr. Pedophile. You know, lyrics coming from the very talented, very sensational Storm. I mean, when you hear Storm music, the mellow of the music, the voice, the tone, the lyrics, everything you can actually feel, you know? You feel our music, you feel what it says, like you feel the spirit coming directly from Storm. Yes, Storm.
Yes, give time.
Yes. You know, any upcoming performances like you know, within, say, the next few months or so? We know the summer pretty much finish and things like that. Any upcoming performances?
Yeah, we're finalizing some performances that we have coming up. I have one coming up for November in New York City. Mm-hmm. We have one coming up for the latter part of November. The one in New York is the earlier part. The latter part of November, one in California. But I don't want to tell the details until I'm 100% sure. So those dates are tentative for right now. But as I said, if you follow me on Twitter, follow Storm on Twitter. You can also follow Signature Music on Twitter. You know, and also on Reverb Nation. You know, this information will be made available as soon as it's confirmed.
So what about your hometown?
In Baltimore, yeah, actually, I should have something coming up soon. I'm not exactly in Maryland, but close by in Virginia, but for December.
All right.
In Virginia, so I'll keep you posted. You know, you're my dupes already, Jammy.
Yes,
you know
yes.
Go on.
Yeah, man. Definitely, Storm. I'm telling you, I'm feeling the album. I'm feeling the vibes. It's trust me, this album is gonna go places. I know it, you know. And the listeners who have been hearing, you know, I know earlier, I don't know if you kept hearing that droid. My phone was going crazy. Facebook was going crazy. You know, love the album. Once again, massive nostalgia. Storm, before you go, what are some of your personal, some things you'd like to accomplish in the music, say within the next 1 to 2 years? What are some of those things that you would love to do?
Well, you know, the sky's the limit, and we're aiming very high. You know, we want to reach out to a lot of different diasporas. Let me say, you know, with the same message of oneness and the same message of love. You know, and we're trying to make the thing global. We're trying to get the word across to as many countries and as many different types of people as we can. You know, because we're you know, when I say different types of people, you know, I mean we're all one, but you know, different backgrounds of people, you know, different beliefs of people and stuff like that, and you know, just getting the message out there, and we're looking towards doing a lot of collaborations right now. Looking towards doing one with Luciano, that's coming up, and looking towards doing one with President Brown. Pick up yourself. I know he's also there in California listening to. Pick up yourself every time, President, and looking towards doing one with Frankie. That's also in the making, and just voiced a crazy universal love song for Rockstone Productions. Here in New York, called "Make It Your Duty." You know,
yes.
we're showing my versatility. I'm trying to reach out in some different languages. You know, so you know, we're just looking towards spreading the love, spreading the message. You know, getting out there and giving the people motivation, because that's what we're here to do, and that's what we're all about. And you know, the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit.
Yeah.
The sky is the limit. And, you know, not even just focusing on the music, too, because I have a lot of personal things that I want to attain. And there's a lot of things that I want to go back to my country and do personally, you know, for especially my community and my father's community. But, you know, just for young people, especially the young empresses, them down there in Jamaica, there are a lot of things that I want to go there and do. And, you know, we're just on the journey. We're just on the journey, and wherever just sends us, wherever he leads us to go, that's where we'll go. You know, because we're adamant in following the path of him and the teachings of him. So that's where we're headed. You know,
yes.
We're just going out there, Jammy. We're just going out there and just focusing and holding a strong meditation and trying to keep the things circumspect. You know, and especially trying to reach out to the young ladies. You know, me as an empress personally, that's what I want to do. Reach out to a lot of the young ladies that are involved in music, as well as those that are not involved in music. Just giving them hope and connecting with them on a woman-to-woman level. And, you know, just making them know that, you know, we have a form of meditation because we're on the rise. We're on the rise. We're really on the rise. And times are changing. And as mothers, we have to try to set the thing away so that we youth them can benefit, you know, so it can be beneficial to the youth, you know, and also spreading the importance of education for the youth them, you know, because knowledge is power, and our hope is for a more powerful, a more powerful foundation, societal foundation.
Yes, you know. I love that because not only are you giving of yourself with with your music, with your positive lyrics, but also you actually want to do some, you know, do more than that, you know. You actually want to get out and do more, you know. Boy, I want to tell you, Storm, it's like there's so much people who say, boy, I want to big up Storm, but just real quick, you know, we have listeners out of the US, Canada, France, Anguilla. We have folks listening from Dominica, Germany. We have I'm looking here, if I'm saying it right, Abu Dhabi. That is from the United Arab Emirates. We have listeners from out of Israel. You know, always, and you know, they just want to show their love for you, and they love the music. They enjoy the music, and you know, there's the gentleman from Abu Dhabi. I don't know is I don't know what time it is there, but all day long, you know, I keep getting texts, you know. Remember, you know, Abu Dhabi, you know. So
yeah, big up. I just want to say thanks to everybody, all the listeners. That big up to the gentleman in Abu Dhabi that's listening. Big up yourself and all the listeners there in Sweden, all over the world, France, wherever it is, you know, all different parts of Europe, different parts of Africa, Jamaica, the Caribbean, the US. Just big up everybody for taking the time out, you know, just for taking the time out to listen to me. I'm humbled. I'm humbled by it. And to you, to DJ Jammy, for having me. I go like saying I want somebody big up too.
Much respect.
Big up yourself, man. Big up yourself, man. Yeah.
Thanks. You know, boy, I tell you now, Stamp, there's so much that we could talk about. But you know the good thing though, right? If we talk about everything, then it don't leave nothing else to talk about, you know. And, you know, like always, you know, I always like to make it clear that I don't like for them to look at one-time thing we talk and then that's it, you know. As you go through and you do your works and stuff like that, you know, I'd love to have you back here. You know?
Most definitely. Definitely, Jammy. Stop it, man. You shouldn't even say that, man. You just hurt my feelings a while ago. You know, that's for sure.
That's a must. Yes, that's a definite. I know we talk about a lot of stuff, but is there anything you want to say to the listeners, you know, that we really didn't cover, you know, up to this point?
Yeah, well, I want to say thanks again to everybody that tuned in to listen. You know, and I just want to say as a lioness, I want to big up all the lionesses out there. You know, that's doing the 9 to 5 thing. You know, trying to keep the family afloat. You know, and all the king man them too. You know, big up. Militancy is key.
Yes.
Militancy is key. And to all the youth them listening, you know, keep on the head up. Try to focus. You know, don't be no locust. Just try to focus and focus on the thing and just know say it's a serious time we're living in. And as I said before, we have to be aware or go aware. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Learn. The key thing is learning to read between the lines. You know, because a lot of time we limit ourselves to whatever lines we're being fed. But we have to learn to read between the lines. So just keep our head up. You know? Yeah.
Yes, you know, and once again, you know, Storm, thanks for being here. And what I love your music. But what as you know, as we talk over the past hour and a half or so, what the thing I love is that you're someone who matured in yourself and matured in the music, and you know, it's you can feel the spirit in your music, you know, speaking to you, and you know, from where you were at one time, it's like when you're a child, you do as a child, and now you're an adult, you know, in the music, you're grown up, and you know better, you're doing better, and you're bringing out a positive message, and really, you know, I love that about you. I love the spirit in your music, you know, but before we go, Storm,
thanks.
You know, it's one thing everyone always, they look forward to the end of the interview, not because you're leaving, but this is the time I usually ask for an a cappella, you know? I mean, you do some for us already throughout the interview, you know, but, you know, can you bless us with one more, you know, before
we...
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I have this track called Life is What You Make It, where I'm saying, life is what you make it. You'll reap the seeds you sow. Don't sit down and waste it. Elevate your growth. Life is what you make it. This you all should know. Kindness, you got to show it. 'Cause love's the way to go. Perilous are the times, obvious are the signs, but we persevere 'cause we no quitter. Doing the best we can do. Honorable as we cut and go through. And when they build them tall to the ceiling, our verbatim and actions are still quite appealing. Jaja love is the reason I smile, and when the pot can boil. Yeah, man, that's to my people, chin up. Chin up, man. There's hope. Once there's life, Rastafari, I know there's hope. Believe me, from a girl who got through it, I can't tell you no. Once there's life, anything is possible. Anything is possible, and don't be afraid to dream. Because a lot of us are afraid to close our eyes and spend some time and actually dream.
Yes.
It's okay to dream. Yeah.
Yes, true thing. We have to visualize what we want out of life and then make it into being. If we don't
you have to visualize, and then you have to analyze, and then you will realize. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and
I love that.
And then you can implement your course of action. But don't forget, the key is to visualize, analyze. When you come to that realization, when you finally realize, then you implement.
All right. Love that. Very powerful sistering. Not only a great singer-songwriter, but very, you could actually be a motivational speaker, Storm. You know that.
Give thanks.
Yes.
I'm just obviously, it's just talking through me,
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, anyway. So, Storm, once again, my pleasure having you here. Have a wonderful evening. I know you're in the studio right now, and, you're going right to the work, so bless. And keep up the good work, yeah?
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me, and blessed love, and thank you to everybody for listening once again. The Mama Storm loving every time. Wow, good.
Bless. Yes, Zanine Massive. People's Choice Radio Massive. That was the very sensational, very talented Storm. We have two great interviews tonight, right there. I tell you, Storm thing set.